Hey there, Libra, and welcome to your November 2019 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. As I was tuning into your energy for the month of November, I was given this really strong impression that November for you, Libra, is a very successful month. I feel that your vision, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in your life, and this could be professionally or in terms of your creative energy as well, I feel like you are pretty much on fire with it. I just think that like what was sort of coming through was I was seeing almost like an Olympic athlete jumping hurdles. And so I feel like this month there are going to be some hurdles, and there could be some things that you have to surmount in order to see your vision through, and in order to keep the momentum that you're on, or to begin the momentum that you want to begin in your life. And I was feeling like some of these hurdles that were coming through sort of metaphorically with that visual of the athlete like jumping the hurdles, some of them could be internal. So you might be dealing with a little bit of procrastination this month in November. You could be feeling like just not as motivated, or you might be feeling like you have things that you definitely have written down on your schedule. For example, if you're putting together research for a big project, or if you're writing a book, etc., etc., it seems like these types of tasks that you are really self-accountable for, that could be where you're encountering a little bit of internal resistance, or like a desire to procrastinate a little bit, Libra. So just be aware that that's going to be a force. Now, that's definitely not anything unique. I mean, every creative person pretty much all the time comes up against resistance in some way, shape, or form, whether it's literally procrastination or a sense of being artistically or creatively blocked for any period of time. But the message is literally, Libra, to just keep going. Even if you have to slow down a little bit, or even if you have to be a little bit more flexible about how things are getting done. This is Mercury Retrograde that we have in November in Scorpio, so it is possible that some of you could see some shifting things going on. Maybe, for example, if somebody promised you something, they might have to delay whatever they were going to come through on for you. They may also have like some kind of issue coming up that they then have to resolve, which might throw a fork in some plans. But the message overwhelmingly is that you are doing this, whatever this is that you're seeking to do. It doesn't just benefit you, it also, there's like a whole environment that your creativity or your approach, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, your goal basically, is not just about you. So that should give you some strength to kind of keep going forward and keep taking those steps, even if it's just one step at a time and you feel like you had planned for things to move quicker. You are still very much on a successful path, and the message is to really reinforce that for yourself and to stay super, super connected to the purpose of what you're doing, because if you can do that, you can actually accomplish a lot this month. You can get to the end of November and you might have felt during this month like, man, I felt like I was really, pushing myself to be disciplined and to keep going. But then looking back on the month, you may actually feel like you accomplished a lot, way more than you anticipated. Or way more than it even felt like you were doing. So just be gentle on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself about it, but recognize that anytime that we're doing any sort of creative path, or we're trying to create something that hasn't existed before, or we're trying to usher in a new chapter for ourselves in our life, there are always going to be challenges and hurdles that we have the opportunity to see them as something that we can enjoy the process of solving. We can enjoy the process of soaring over a hurdle when we frame it like that in our minds, when we frame it like we are engaging fully with the creative process and we're allowing ourselves to be on the journey and focused on the journey, as well as being excited about the destination or the results. So that's what I was getting for you, Libra. Stay motivated. Do whatever you have to do to get yourself hyped up. You know, I have little things that I do because I do a lot of readings. I do a lot of like energetic work, and I have little practices that I do every single day to get myself amped up. And sometimes I'll listen to crazy music and dance around my room. Sometimes I'll do a specific meditation, or I'll doodle and draw things that give me joy, and I'll create symbols that uplift my energy and put them around where I can see them in my workspace. And it's really important to have some little things like this that you can do to just give yourself that little extra oomph of upliftment. That little sparkle of joy will go a really long way to helping you to surrender the idea that procrastination or resistance can sort of overtake you this month. I really don't see that as something that that needs to happen. I feel like this can still be an incredibly productive and successful month for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at your cards. Libra, Libra. Okay. So this is the Druid Craft Tarot. And we're also going to get some insight from your Animal Spirit Oracle cards. So we have the rabbit as the path, and we have the butterfly as the influence. This is so beautiful because it's very, very direct. So the rabbit as your path is coming forward to show some very, I feel this is very genuine and like a very authentic expression of like how it can feel when we are kind of embracing a vision or a goal that is kind of farther beyond, or it takes us out of our comfort zone. We typically do feel like the way the rabbit as an archetype sort of feels. The rabbit is a creature that has a lot of stress built up in its system because it's always sort of on the lookout for what could go wrong. And at the same time, this is a creature that has an incredible ability to listen to its environment. With the long ears and the type of lifestyle that this creature lives, it's incredibly sensitive to even the most subtle frequencies, subtle engaging energies in its environment. So I feel like it's important to take special care of yourself right now, Libra, because a lot is changing around you. And I feel like if you are running yourself a little bit ragged, like for example, if you're not feeling very good physically, but you are pushing yourself to keep doing things the way that you normally do them, like if you're trying to go to the gym, even if like physically you feel like you're maybe getting a little bit of a cold, but you definitely don't want to stop your routine. It's things like that where I feel for you, Libra, it's important to be flexible with how you are engaging with the energy of this month, because you may have some kind of ideas of what you want to accomplish and what you want the month to look and feel like. But if you kind of run with that without listening to your body, or without listening to what seems to be maybe the most relevant energy around you at that time, at any given point of the month, I feel like this is going to potentially build more internal sense of like jitteriness or anxiousness than you even like need to or care to experience. I feel like the potential of this month to be more relaxing is always going to be present throughout all of the energies of the weeks of November, but it's going to be up to you to take that permission, to give yourself permission to do things in a different way if that's what the energy of the moment demands. So just be flexible and pay attention, and I feel like you will get like your hand around the energy of the rabbit, and you won't necessarily feel stressed about it. Now, the other reason that I was saying that I feel like you should be like really gentle on yourself this month is because we have the butterfly as the influence. And the butterfly card comes up when you are going through a really profound, long-term, totally immersive transformation process, just like a caterpillar going into the cocoon to become a butterfly. That is a completely different life stage. You're going to have different abilities. You're going to have different skills after you come out of this cocoon period. And because this is a general reading, you're going to probably be at different, like there's going to be varying places at which you as an individual watching this are going to be like at in your transformation process. So it's really important for you to recognize where you are, Libra. Where are you in this process? Are you just entering? Are you building the cocoon, or are you exiting the cocoon? Are you in the middle of your cocoon process where you're in hibernation mode, or are you climbing your way out of it, or are you stretching your wings? It's going to be unique to everyone's situation, but I invite you to sort of think about that with this card, because where you are in that process, just symbolically, if you can sort of relate and imagine what that would be like, relating it to your current life situation, I feel like this card is going to serve you really well, because you're going to be able to give yourself exactly what you need at this moment, which is different from what you needed last month, and it's going to be different from what you're going to need next month in December and into 2020. So just be really sensitive to your own needs, because a lot is shifting around you. You are absolutely totally transforming, and there's a tendency when you're in the middle of a transition phase like this, both of these creatures feel ungrounded to me. Even though the rabbit is an earth creature, it's kind of got the ears, you know, and it's got that mental energy, that emphasis on kind of the mind, that I feel like there's a tendency maybe for November for you to feel a little bit ungrounding. So take special care to ground yourself and to recognize that all of the changes that are happening for you in your life are absolutely what you want. These are bringing in more of what you want, even, you know, if it doesn't necessarily look like that on all levels right now, because remember the hurdles and remember like soaring over them. This is a process of growth. This is a process of mastery and growth, which eventually leads you to a total transformation of the capabilities that you have in your life. So if you've never been a homeowner, for example, Libra, like the things that you're going through now and throughout the end of this year and maybe even into the beginning of next year could put you on the other side of like being a homeowner all of a sudden, or it could put you in a position where it's like maybe you are getting your degree, you know, or a diploma or something along those lines, and then you're switching over from being a student to now being a practitioner or a teacher or an organizer of something. It's like you're changing roles in a very significant way, and when you're in the middle of that process, you have to be really gentle, because your identity is undergoing a major transformation, and our identity is actually a really ever-present, incredibly powerful way in which we do ground ourselves and give ourselves that sense of security. Is often unconsciously we identify with roles, we identify with what people tell us that we're good at, we identify with the things that we are obligated to do, like the responsibilities that we have agreed to do. So when those responsibilities change, or when our roles change, or when we are undergoing, you know, a major transition in some area of life where people are now reacting and responding to us in different ways, that's the time where you really need to generate that sense of being rooted in yourself. So have some practices that you can engage with every day that help you feel more grounded. Simple things, maybe a 5-minute meditation, or a walk outside, or go sitting underneath a tree that you like in your area, doing some little things, doing little creative things as well, engaging in maybe a secondary hobby that can help you to be in touch with your inner voice. I feel like all of these things are, fairly simple to do and inexpensive or free, but they go a long way in terms of aligning you, Libra, because when all of your parts of yourself are sort of aligned and balanced internally, that's the point from which you can actually go forth and make these huge changes, and you can not only survive the transformation that you're going through, but you can actually thrive in it. So let's take a look at your tarot cards and we'll get some more insight. So we have 10 of Cups, Princess of Wands, the Sun, Queen of Wands. Wow, insanely positive cards. We've got the Feralt, which is Temperance, Six of Pentacles, Cernunnos, and the Princess of Swords. Okay. Okay, Libra. I'm seeing a lot of good things in this spread. So I want to talk to you first about the energies of the beginning of the month. So we have 10 of Cups with the Princess of Wands, and I really like to see this. It gives me this feeling that, I feel like you are showing up very fiery because you have Princess of Wands and then you also have the Queen of Wands in this reading. So whether you're male or female Libra, it doesn't matter. These are the cards that are coming forward as sort of your signifiers in this reading. And when a Libra is getting like fire cards, it shows me, because the fire and air suits go better together. They go well together. They are the quote unquote masculine signs in the zodiac. And when we see fire showing up to signify you, it really shows you being in a position to initiate and create the changes that you want. It's essentially like, if you were to imagine the air blowing on a fire, it's like you have the power to create that energy for yourself, create more of the energy that you want, magnetize more of the energy that you want, and opportunities are just coming to you. So it's amazing. With the 10 of Cups, it shows that, well, for me, I look at the 10 of Cups card as sort of like the ideal situation, but everybody's 10 of Cups is going to look different. So if your 10 of Cups looks more like your family life, then that's what, this card could literally be pointing to. But the 10 of Cups could also represent having a very thriving and active professional network community, or having a really great, happy people that work for you in your business that feels like a family. Whatever the situation is, it's your ideal. So something is taking shape that is incredibly positive with the 10 of Cups and emotionally satisfying for you. Whatever it is, that's the key here, is it's emotionally satisfying. But the Princess of Wands represents you taking like either a new idea or a new approach, or bringing a new desire into the equation. So there's these things that are going on that are sort of stable, and one way we could look at this is you kind of bringing another wand into it, bringing something that is almost like a question that you have, posed to the universe, like, what about this? I feel like maybe going in this direction, or I feel like engaging or starting something new, or maybe even bringing in another relationship into your life, something that you feel inspired about. And it could also be for a project or something creative that you have kind of in the back of your mind that you're like, I want to bring this in to my life more. But whatever it is, I feel like, the sun is shining on it immediately. So it's like you're bringing in this new desire or this new growth, and you're kind of introducing it into your already established network or your already established lifestyle. And as you do that, there's this evolution that starts to happen where you have the Sun and the Queen of Wands. So you go from the Princess of Wands or the Page of Wands to the Queen of Wands, which is a major step in terms of your sovereignty and your autonomy, and basically just, it feels to me like validation for your idea. So with the Sun here as well, it could be that you're bringing something out into the world. Maybe you make a posting online, or you start a channel, or you throw up a website, or something along those lines, where you kind of just getting some sort of system or some kind of expression of yourself. You're like putting it out there, and there's this immediate, like almost sense of like a proof of concept here with the sun. It's showing you that there is a market for whatever this is that you want to do. Or let's say your goal is more personal. The sun can represent like a new dawn on your life, and when the sun rises on something that we're asking for or something that we want, it shows us multiple things. First of all, it shows you that you can sort of dream up something and then start to see it come into real creation into your life. But on a very like much even deeper level, it kind of gives you this internal validation that you are creating within harmony with the external environment around you. It's like this synchronicity that happens because, for example, it's almost kind of reminding me of when you see in a movie or something where like a character will have a moment of clarity, right? And then the clouds part at the same time above them, and it's like the sun is shining on them. And it's just this interesting thing where we see this even in our actual lives. Like this isn't just present in works of fiction. We actually do see in our physical, tangible, practical lives where we have an idea, and this comes to us almost like we don't know where these ideas come from, and we don't know where this inspiration comes from, but we have this idea, and then an opportunity for something related to that immediately flows into our experience. And it's like those two things are not connected through any practical means. We may have had an idea but not told anybody about it. We might have had a dream about it. We might have just been thinking about it. And then within a week of having that thought on our minds, all of a sudden we see an opening for how it could happen. And we wonder, how is this going on? You know, like, what does this mean for me? That I could initiate some kind of spark within myself and then see my outer environment sort of responding and reflecting and reacting to that initial inspiration that was purely internal. It should give you confidence, Libra, that you are like in alignment with the conscious desires that you have. When you say you want something, even if you're just saying it to yourself, and then you see proof that the world is ready to meet you halfway in that desire, or that there's a market for what you want to give, there's a market for what you want to contribute, there's people that need it, that should give you a lot of confidence that you're tuned in. That should give you all of the validation that you need so that you don't need to look to your colleague or your partner or your best friend or your editor or anybody else for validation, because sometimes we're not able to get that. And sometimes the most important validation that you actually can get is from the universe giving you those omens and signs saying yes. Like, yes. And they might be small things, but if you just pay attention to them, they will give you so much confidence and so much trust. So that's kind of the deeper message here. It's not just that things are coming together for you, Libra. It's more that you're in accordance with the environment that you are a part of. Like, you're not in resistance to the environment. You're not engaging in conflict with your world. You're in harmony with it. And when that happens, such beautiful things can be made from that alignment. So I really love this reading. We have the Temperance card with the Six of Pentacles, and I want to read these with Cernunnos and the Princess of Swords because there's definitely something very significant that I was seeing that connects all of these cards. So the story that's sort of developing for me as I look at this is that I feel like when we have Temperance here, This is a very creative version of Temperance. That's one of the reasons I love the Druid Craft deck, is because of this card, because you really get the feel of an alchemist with this. You really get the feel of a creator and a creative process that you're initiating in this card. This is the culmination of everything that we have seen up to this point. This is the culmination of you engaging with the cosmic soup that you're engaging with and seeing your life responding to you in that positive way through synchronicities, opportunities, signs, omens, and things like that. Once you initiate more of this creative process, or you go further along with this, and keep in mind, this could be around the middle of the month, or it could be around the 20th, as that is the day that Mercury begins to go direct, which is going to mark a change in energy, because right after that, we're going to have the sun going into Sag. So for everybody, the energy is going to be shifting. So this kind of creative initiation, or the commencement of a new stage in this creative process, could happen around that time, because this is also a Sagittarius card. So around the 22nd, when the sun goes into Sag, you could be very much in the middle of this sort of creative energy, or initiating a new process. At the same time, there's the Six of Pentacles, Cernunnos, and the Princess of Swords. So Cernunnos is the god of like nature, and in this card, they have sort of depicted him as sort of like a personification of unconscious, the unconscious patterns that are kind of like our deepest part of our psyche. And this is sort of depicted in this deck as potentially, you know, a challenging thing, because these people are asleep. So there could be a sense with this card of being unconscious to something, or not paying attention to something, which could potentially be harmful to us. So we always want to be careful when we see that. However, the Six of Pentacles, I'm seeing this as like an investor, or a mentor, or a helper, or a guide of some kind, or maybe somebody who has some form of influence in your life, Libra, or maybe even authority, dare I say. But what I get from this, it's not to say that this person on the Six of Pentacles is negative or anything like that, because I can't say that in a general reading. It's going to be unique for every one of you, but I do see a hint of caution. I see a message of being cautious around someone who's maybe offering you something, whether it's finances, support, advice, a contract, somebody who's just trying to influence your decision making in some way. And I feel like the message is to not be unconscious about that, to not like let yourself be led by another person who may have reasons for why they want to give to you. They may have reason for why they want to engage with you in a contractually binding way. They may be giving to you in some way so that they can have a sense of you needing to give them a favor, or owing them something down the road. And again, I'm not saying that's the case for everyone, but I always want to just be totally upfront with you guys about these energies, because it could potentially save you a headache down the road. I don't see this as being a major thing, but I do feel like the reason that this message is coming through is because you've got momentum on your side and you're shining. You know, you have new ideas, you're growing a lot, you're kind of kicking ass, Libra. And the fact that you are succeeding in what you do is going to draw the attention of other people. Some of those people are going to be like positively angels, and they're going to want to keep working with you and engage with you in a sweet and kind way, but some of them are also going to have their own agendas. And so the message here, Libra, is to be very cautious with who you allow to kind of get you into any contractually binding things. I want you to be really cautious about that, and maybe even wait until the shadow period of Mercury retrograde is over. Maybe wait until December to sign contracts and things like that, just to be extra careful. Because I feel like with the Princess of Swords at the end of the month, this is definitely more like your energy, Libra. You're very comfortable in the Princess of Swords energy. You are a truth teller sign, you're an ethical sign, you're a sign that appreciates balance and harmony, and you're also very intellectual. So we see, you know, this card basically has like the spirit of Libra written all over it. And I feel like it's important for you to kind of stand apart. The way that she's like looking, she's holding the sword, which represents truth and balance. She's holding the sword and looking off towards the rest of these cards. And she's kind of standing, well, actually, she's looking away in here. But the way that I feel it is that you're sort of standing apart from these energies, and that it would be better if you were to pay attention to them. It would be better if you were like paying attention to these energies and being cautious about them than not. I think it's really important that you are cautious at the end of the month about someone approaching you. And it's totally normal that people would want to approach you at this time, Libra, like I said, because you have some really great momentum happening in your life. And when you're shining so bright, you're going to attract some moths, you know, and moths aren't bad. They're beautiful creatures, but you just want to be careful, you know, about who you're interacting with and what you're agreeing to, especially if you ever feel pressured, you know, like that should be your first sort of indication. Like when you're talking to somebody and you can just kind of tell that they're sort of trying to nudge you in a particular direction, and they're not doing it overtly. Like they may not even be conscious of the fact that they're doing it. A lot of them probably are, but some of them might not be totally conscious that they're trying to move you in a direction that's more beneficial for them. And the message here is just recognize that when it happens, create that energetic boundary for yourself so that you can be totally free to engage with your life and your decisions in ways that are going to be the best for you. You got to think for yourself because what you have going is so special, Libra, and I really see it being able to flourish. I see with these cards the Ten of Cups, you've got the Sun, you've got Queen of Wands and Princess of Wands. I see this thing being very, very special. I see it being a long-term thing. So I don't want you to kind of make anything more complicated for yourself right now. You know, this is a really important phase. Okay, let's take a look at your oracle message. We've got adventure. Yep, so that makes a lot of sense when you have Princess of Wands coming up as well going into the month. So it is an adventurous month for you, Libra. I feel like this is also relating a lot to the butterfly message, which is that the growth that you're going through right now means that you're going to be able to handle different things than what you could have handled in the past. So it's important to kind of keep in mind that if a particular adventure or a particular new experience or goal or dream that you have seems kind of beyond like reality, or if it seems like something that you're not sure you would trust yourself to be able to do, the message is that the growth that you're going through right now is actually preparing you for that future experience or for that future change or for the growth, you know? So it's like everything that you're going through right now is preparing you so that by the time you get to the point where, let's say you're on stage in front of like thousands of people, or, you know, if that's relevant for whatever you're trying to do, or you know, publish your book that's going to be read by a bunch of people or anything like that. It's like by the time you get there, you'll be ready for that. Even if you don't think that you're there right now, it's like by continuing along this journey, you're going to engage with little experiences, little lessons, little learnings that are preparing you ultimately so that whenever that thing happens, you're going to actually feel like it's the natural next step. It's not going to feel uncomfortable to you. It's going to feel natural and normal. So that's what I'm getting. I hope that this is helpful to you, Libra. I hope it gives you something useful and meaningful to think about as you go through the month of November. If you're still with me, give me a little heart emoji below. I would love to see your comments, and those of you who hang out for the full video, I just would love to hear how many of you guys are doing that. So please go ahead and leave me a heart emoji. If you want to share something about the reading and how it may have connected to something in your life, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. If you got something beneficial out of this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to notifications. All of those things are so supportive to my channel, and it really helps me to know that these readings are helpful to you. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to donate to support my channel, I will put the information to how to do that below. You can donate any amount that you want. I'm just putting this here now because next month I will be doing the 2020 full year ahead forecasts for each sign, which is going to add a lot of time to my schedule, and I won't be able to be receiving income for the full week that I'll be doing those. So if you want to support my channel, if you get something useful out of these videos every month and you just want to say thank you, you can donate. Even just $1 is absolutely amazing and really will help in aggregate. It will help me to support myself to continue putting out so much free content, not only just every month, but with the yearly forecast readings, which do take a lot of time. So thank you so much for being here, Libra. I'm sending you a big, big hug. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, all that information will be down below. Sending you so much love. Mwah. Hope you have an amazing month in November, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.